we go. See if we can. Is it Gianni? I know. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Am I saying that right? Oh, you're a bit quiet. Go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. Well, I can hear you.
Is, is
I
this
can turn it
better?
up.
Sorry, I'm trying to
Oh wow, that's like
position
way better.
just positioning the mic a little better there.
Yeah. How's it going?
Oh, pretty good, man. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's good to hear your voice. We've chatted a few times, but
Yeah, yeah,
we've got your portfolio now, and we're oh man, you're in Seattle. I'm just seeing this.
yeah.
Maybe we can get a beer in like I don't know a few weeks.
Would love that, man.
I'll
That'd be
be
awesome.
there shortly. Um,
Oh, awesome.
cool. Let's just dive into it. We've got one scene here. Uh, I don't know if you've got blog posts or anything as well, but do you want to talk about like what you're doing, how you got to where you're at, and what your plans are?
Yeah, so started learning 3D about a year ago. Like August last year is when I first downloaded Blender. I've loved game art my whole life. I've been always been the person like playing big RPGs and just like literally just exploring caves and looking at walls and just like even before I knew what environment art was, I always just thought
Mm,
that stuff was the coolest. So yeah, uh, I've been working on music through my 20s. You know, I'm 30 years old now, and now that my band is settling down a little bit, I just kind of decided it's time to pursue another passion, and this is kind of where I ended up.
wait, so how long have you been doing 3D?
1 year.
So you got to this quality in 1 year. That's
Yeah,
amazing, dude.
yeah, yeah. I mean, so this scene here, there's like a bit of it is obviously mega scan. So
Hmm.
the foliage, the ivy, there's a like the a couple of the textures are mega scans, but then yeah, everything else, yeah, I made. I do have two blog posts. I have one blog post as a breakdown of this scene, and then one
Okay,
is one that I've been working on recently.
interesting. Okay, yeah, we can look at those as well. Dang, there's an
Cool.
interior to this cafe as well, dude. Okay,
Yeah.
so you've got, I guess the bakery goods. Is that Mega Scans?
That's a like a ArcViz pack that I got
Okay,
off the marketplace.
it's so interesting because like I think that's the direction of things like
Yeah.
when it comes to portfolios and like because the reality is you should be able to use everything at your disposal to just be creative. Like
Yeah.
the
I
idea of
mean,
using scanned materials and scanned assets is totally fine as long as you're using it in a way that supports what you're trying to do and not just like, hey, look, I can slap a bunch of stuff together I found.
right, right,
Yeah.
yeah. I tried to do a biggest mix of that because I really like architecture. That's kind of like my biggest driving thing that got me into this. Like I love seeing all the big fantastical buildings and that sort of thing. But I also just like, propping out a whole scene and making something that's like,
Mm.
a believable place. So that's why I just kind of want to leverage both sides of that.
Man, you're even adding a little bit of a touch of like life. Like even though there's no people present, like the cups there and there's napkins and a magazine and
It felt really eerie at first before I started
yeah.
doing that. Yeah, it was a little ghost town.
I mean, I haven't played much with what is it, MetaHuman, but I
Yeah,
think I anticipate that we're going to start seeing a lot of portfolios where people are just posing metahuman characters. Like you
I
just
was
make a
going.
library of like five people and just kind of place them around.
Yeah, my blog post that I have right now is like a little cryogenic facility, and I was gonna
Oh,
just make some random metahumans and slap them in there, but I just didn't have time for the review.
yeah. Well, I think that when I look at this scene, it's pretty impressive for the first portfolio. I noticed the same particle issue in the video that we were talking about in just the last review. The little
Yeah,
floating pieces.
I tried to fix it, but I didn't get
Yeah,
to all the
yeah.
parts.
Um,
There's
yeah. Go ahead.
the the steam from one of the coffee cups. I happened to get. I think I fixed the DOF on that, but then yeah, the little dandelions and such. I didn't get to.
Yeah. Oh no, it's all good though. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I guess I would say that the only thing that really feels a little off feeling is just the like the cleanliness of some of the surfaces. There's like the Cafe de Paris and the wall that it's on, just getting some type of roughness variation on there. Maybe it's so diffuse that you wouldn't notice it, but it's also like the ventilation, how it meets the wall. Just getting
Yeah,
something on there that kind of like simulates how it would connect or go through the wall itself can be a
yeah,
like a cap edge or like some type of framing that they put around it to just kind of mask the the way that it
yeah.
it meets up.
Totally like a little
Yeah.
decal or something like that to slap behind there.
Yeah. But I mean overall this is quite impressive. I think what was the other thing was this wall edge is really sharp.
Yeah.
You can just
Yeah,
bevel that or put like an edge decal on there. That's just like a deferred normal of edge damage and it'll kind of break that up for you. It doesn't even have to be that all that damage. It could just be like the softness that you see in like stucco. And then when
yeah,
you bevel this and you have that on top of it, it just kind of wraps the material around it and it looks
yeah,
more
it's smooth.
natural.
Yeah, true. Okay.
Was there anything that you were combating while you were building the scene or is it just kind of just happened to come together as you went through it?
I mean, I took it pretty step by step. I think the biggest thing was like the figuring out how to do the ground properly. Like you'll see it in my blog post. I did a little
Mm.
breakdown of that. But I think yeah, that was my biggest thing. And then I really like my biggest problem was probably just like I should have started with concept. I should have kind of gone a bit more in the direction of like following something that's already pre-made. So I'm not like just shooting because as you can see, I'm just like I made a building and I'm like I'll put one here and I'll put one there and then I'll throw something in the background and yeah. So it's
Oh, right.
so I yeah I kind of wish I had thought about composition a little bit more ahead of time, but
Man, that's this is pretty crazy though. And this looks like so you went with a quite modular approach for the buildings.
yeah, that was my main thing I started with. I just wanted to learn how to break down a building.
This is cool. When you once you added the crosswalk and the paint on the road,
Hmm.
like the cobble, it like contours to it. I guess it's just a
Yeah,
projected decal, right?
yeah, it's a yeah.
Yeah, this is super nice. This is cool with all the breakdowns. I'm noticing there's a bit of this like frame hitch
So
in the
that
GIF.
was really weird. That was really weird. I tried to figure out how to fix it. It
Hmm.
has only happened in this project, so I don't know what I did in the project settings that messed it up. But I was trying to render at 24 frames per second, but it would skip every frame. So like it would say it was rendering a frame and then it wouldn't. So I had to render at 48 frames per second and then down scale it down to 24 frames per second, which made it look really weird.
Oh yeah,
But
I
I
wonder
couldn't
if
get
that would do it.
yeah, I couldn't get around it somehow.
Hmm.
I haven't had that issue in any other project, but this one is was giving me trouble. I
Yeah,
tried
that's really
to
odd.
yeah. So I apologize for the eye cancer I just gave you.
Oh man. Oh, you're even using RGB masks.
Yeah, that's where all my variation came from in those guys.
Man, that's
All
great.
just like cheap, no like other texture in there. It's just a color.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the times no one will even notice. You could even multiply it over the top and then it's just like pulling the color from below and man. Yeah, so you were rendering mage magefish chat. It's an amazing name. It's saying image sequences are for the win. So if you're to
It
render
was
the
an image sequence, which was weird. It was,
really?
and then I brought it into DaVinci, but like every other like, it was weird.
Whoa.
Every other frame was blank in the image sequence.
Whoa, that is weird. Okay,
I don't
never
know
mind
why.
then.
Yeah, I don't know why I was doing that.
What the heck? Okay.
It was like I was 4 days straight. I tried to troubleshoot that to fix it, and then I'm just like, okay, screw it.
Oh, nice flags too. Are those actually dynamic?
They are, yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
wind.
It's like wind simulation. like real time
Yeah,
simmed. This is
yeah,
super
exactly.
cool, man.
Thank you.
It's kind of going through. Oh man, someone's hardcore about planning. I like it. Dude, that's awesome. Did you put like rules in here so it made it green when you check it as well?
Exactly. Once I hit
Ah,
engine, I went green. Yeah,
yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
yeah. It's
Dude, that's super cool.
keeps me organized.
Yeah.
I've always been bad about that. Coming from like I came from audio engineering and making music for my band, and my files in that computer are it's a nightmare, and I
Yeah.
never wanted to repeat it again.
Yeah, we always try and make it organized and then by the end of it we're like, "Oh man, what happened?" But
Yeah, you can
okay,
file in this folder. That's fine.
we can yeah. We could scroll up to the so this cryo chamber scene. I
Mhm.
recognize it now. I'm like, "Oh yeah, no, I've seen this."
Yeah, I
I've
posted a
either
couple.
I maybe have given feedback on it as well. I can't recall.
Oh,
But
okay. I must have missed those Discord streams.
this is this is pretty cool. And so you have a whole scene. It looks like you're doing some refraction on the glass to try and
Yeah,
like get that kind of
trying to learn shaders.
yeah,
That yeah.
dude, that's me right now, man. Shaders are like I want more. I want to know more because I feel
Oh,
like
it's
that's like that's the gateway to quality.
yeah, it makes your project feel so alive. Like I've slowly been like being like, I do like technical stuff because it just makes it feel so cool.
Is that like frosted glass on the inside there to like
So
for the tube?
that one was like a normal map of like dewdrops
Yeah.
just projected there. But I did eventually change that to like frost with like on the final one you'll see like in the video render I made, you'll subtly see the dewdrops like panning downwards, like it's like kind of
Oh,
sweating.
yeah, dude,
So
that's awesome. Is you said it's a video below? You just scroll
yeah, it's
down
at the
there.
bottom of the blog post there.
Oh, right, I
It's just a
see.
short little
I'm
30
gonna
second
mute it
thing.
just in case there's like I have no idea if there's sound or anything.
There's just like some ambient little like soundscape going on.
Oh, dude, the bubbles are a nice effect as well. Man, this scene's really really nice.
Thank you. I wasn't sure if it was like, I spent like 4 weeks on this so far. I don't know if I want to push it further and put it in the portfolio. So I just put it in the blog post for now, but maybe I'll come back to it.
Let me see that just go back to the video real quick here. Cuz I think what this scene could benefit from is if the lighting around the scene is set to more of the dim lighting that you would have. You know, like if you have auto lighting in a hallway or of like an apartment or whatever, and it clicks on, but it's never like
Right.
fully dark. If it was kind of like that when you're establishing the shot and you're approaching the canister in the middle, it
Hmm.
it'll feel like it'll frame really well the centerpiece, which is
Yeah.
that big container in the middle, and then from there you could have the lights like you could sequence the lights to flicker on
Okay.
as if the person holding the camera that's like walking in so smoothly somehow is is causing the lights to click on because then you'll
Yeah.
get the benefit of both scenes and then you'll have a little bit of a feeling to it as well. You could probably
No, yeah, that'd
find
be
some sound effects for that too.
Yeah, that sounds fun actually. I'll probably mess around with that a little bit. That's the one thing I want to get like the lights flickering and that sort of thing. I've been learning more about like, panning a texture underneath like, emissives and stuff like that to get like,
Mhm.
flickering in that. I want to try that with some of the when I do some electrical modules and stuff like that in this scene.
You should be able to create a gradient in Unreal and run that gradient as the emissive controller, which then
Okay.
you can like create a gradient that timeline wise would create the flickering on and off.
Yeah.
And it sounds crazy, but because then it's not panning a texture, it's like animating a timeline of a gradient.
Right. Okay. Okay.
because then you can have those on all the lights, and then you can have the same gradient, but then offset them per light, so they all kind of
Oh,
flicker on differently at different times.
gotcha. Okay, that's cool.
At least that's how I would see a lighting artist at work do it.
Yeah,
But maybe
nice.
they're thinking cheaper
They're
because
thinking
like
better than me.
it's not that's not what I mean, man.
Well, they have
but
the job and I don't.
oh man. I mean, soon enough, dude. If this is how far you've gotten in a little over a year, this is kind of crazy, man. I'm looking forward to some more of the progress. Like, so you're building this scene.
Mhm.
What's your plans after this one?
I want to push detail more. Like this one was
Mm.
to teach myself more hard surface, just getting good shading and topology and getting that stuff kind of like figured out.
Mm-hmm.
And now I want to do like something real crunchy and probably a little bit more organic. Um, I want to do a little bit more sculpting and just kind of like focus more on the visual fidelity, like maybe not something so big. Like I think
Yeah.
I want to scope down a lot, do like a little desk or something like that, and just really push my textures and my actual like high poly and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah. So focusing on like baking and
Yeah,
just building a scene that's quite focused on the materials and the props themselves.
yeah, exactly.
Man, you'll get a huge level up from that. I'm positive, because like it's once for me, it's like once you know how to model. Like if I were to build a curriculum, it would be like, don't worry about low polys, don't worry about unwrapping or baking. Just replicate stuff and just get comfortable with geometry and just
Hmm.
pulling reference and being able to build those things. And then it's okay, how does low polys work? How does baking work and UVs and all that stuff? And then it's materials. Because like if you could just model, make a low poly and bake it, and the asset looks good with no materials on it, then you can move on to texturing. If that makes sense. And
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, so I think the next phase that you're talking about, because not everyone works that way either, right? Sometimes you want to go all the way through just because it's fun. And
yeah.
yeah.
That's
Oh,
kind of
did
where
did
I've
you
been.
want to say?
Oh, I just like I wanted to get that whole, experience out and be like, I made an environment, cool. Now I'm like, okay, I should really go back to fundamentals and get my quality where I want it to
Mm.
be now that I know what it looks like. Because it's like from music, making a song, like a guitar part doesn't tell you what the song is going to sound like. You have to have it all in context together to know that your guitar part really sucks.
Yeah, yeah, and you're like, oh, that's not working, and then you go in
Yeah,
and swap it out based off of the
exactly.
other parts. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be pretty transformative, actually. I think for your work, because like judging by like the things you're focusing on and the details you're looking at and the execution quality, you're just gonna like drill into the next like scene with material focus, and yeah, it's gonna look good,
Yeah.
dude. Awesome.
I,
No, that sounds perfect.
hell
Uh,
yeah. Thank you.
did you have any questions for me or anything you wanted to ask me or chat or anyone?
I mean, what do you think would be a good? I mean, like obviously, I want to focus on materials, textures, all that stuff. But what do you think would be a good kind of uh, scope or kind of direction I should go for my next piece?
I mean, okay. If you wanted to sculpt, um, and then you also wanted to have like some material exploration, and then really push your PBR understanding, I would probably say something like a painter's desk, like an oil painter's desk. Like
Okay.
imagine the tubes of paint that have been squished to nothing, and then just
Yeah.
like having to sculpt the paint pieces that are on the canvas, or like the paint that's on the palette that is being used, and all the brushes and stuff, like all those details. Like the
Yeah.
paint tubes have a completely different like roughness feeling, and depending on the paint tube, sometimes the label is on there printed, but then the tube itself is metal, so then you start getting the plastics and the metals and paper, and canvases. There's so many things you could do.
Oh,
You could
you're
have
such a
it
good
near a window without
describer.
yeah, you could have it near a window without showing the outside, which would
Yeah,
allow you to focus still on the propping, but then have the light cast through the window and hit all of the materials and the props. Oh
I
man.
like that. I
Yeah,
like that. That's
I think it would look really good. But
oh yeah,
that's the things I like is material variation and like tons of like different types of surfaces.
absolutely. Is there, I mean, do you see any weak points specifically with like my general workflows right now, my hard surface, my or just propping,
Um
composition? Like, do you see any like big kind of standout issues that I should really dial in on?
I mean the so in the sci-fi stuff, sci-fi's hard, right? Or like hard
Yeah.
surface just because it's all kind of made up, but it also needs to look functional and real.
Yeah.
So there's being able to balance the high detail with low frequency details as well, where like an area of rest versus a high detail area. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the rule is like if we look at the this cryo chamber thing, um, it's it's got a lot of detail around the outside, and it hasn't tipped over into too much detail yet, but there's a lot, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
trying to focus on the ratio that everyone usually goes with, and I think it came from concept art first was the 70% areas of rest and then 30% high detail or high
Gotcha.
frequency. So the big flat surface here would be an area of rest, and then the moment you start getting smaller details that are close to each other, the more of those that come close to each other, the more it's becomes a high frequency. So like this whole side area would be like high frequency, and it kind of spaces out a bit here, and then it gets becomes high frequency again. This spacing out area, if you could lower that so that it's either high frequency or not, will
Mm-hmm.
do a wonders. Like if the what is it? If this little cut in piece here was there, and then you took out these three graded patterns and this cutout
Uh-huh.
piece, that would probably be enough. And then
Okay.
it'd be easier on the eyes to like kind of absorb the detail. And detail usually
Yeah.
happens where functionality is, um,
Hmm.
where it's like where a machine opens up or has to pivot, or like where all the tubes and cables kind of meet up. Uh,
Absolutely. Yeah, I
but
think this one I
it's not crazy what you've done.
I just went a little Boolean happy with this.
Yeah,
I just I picked up Blender again and I just wanted to kind of learn all those workflows again. So I just was like, I'm just gonna put everything in everything.
yeah. I mean, it looks cool. Um, what was the other thing I wanted to? These patterns, these like high frequency patterns, are those
Mhm.
modeled or are those like
Yeah, those are modeled.
yeah? Because you could probably get away with those being a texture. Like even if you wanted the little edge to it, you just have to do like
Yeah, I thought
a
about
height
doing
map
alpha
for
for
it.
those guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
yeah. No one will know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell that you wanted that highlight though. That when the light hits it,
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
get that if you turn it into a normal map. Like if you made this pattern in Designer and then just popped it through like a normal map generation, you'll get the little
Got
highlight on there.
gotcha. Yeah, that make it exponentially cheaper.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to get super crazy with it, you could just take the plane that has this grid pattern and duplicate it like 3 or 4 times under itself,
Oh,
and
okay.
no one will be able to tell otherwise.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a I've seen it done in games, of course. Usually we try to avoid it because every time you do that, you're doing like a um, alpha layering, and you're just stacking alpha, and you want to avoid stacking alpha too much. But if it's
Okay.
for a portfolio, it's fine.
Yeah. That's why I figured I'll just model this and call it good.
Yeah, yeah, it looks really cool. Um, but cool. Was there anything else that you wanted
No,
to
I don't
ask
think I have
about?
any other questions. No, yeah, I really appreciate you doing this review for me. I know I'm early in the game. I just wanted to get ahead of it before I had to wait another several months for a review.
Oh, dude, I know. I try to. It's still closed now because I don't want to like have people sign up and then wait a year to get their review.
Oh,
I've had
totally,
people
totally.
sign up. They're like, "Oh yeah, I'm trying to get into games," and then when I get to them, they're like, "Yeah, so I'm just like 6 months into my job," and like, "Oh okay, all right, sorry, I'm so sorry." um, But cool. No, I'm looking forward to seeing more from you, dude.
Oh, thank you. Well, yeah, thank you for talking to me, Jeremy.
Yeah, and I'll poke you. I've like building a small list of people that I know are in the Seattle area that I can just message on Discord when I once we land over there.
I'm literally a block away from the Space Needle, so if you're ever around
Oh,
this area,
bro,
hit me
I
up,
will
man.
literally be walking around there because my partner is
Oh,
coming with me.
come grill some burgers on my rooftop. Let's go.
Yeah, that's awesome. But cool. Okay, I'll put you on a list and we can chat.
Sounds good, man. Thanks again.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. See you
Have a
later.
good one. Have a good vacation, man. Later.
Thanks. Bye.